Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. It is Markets in the Morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning. Today is August 6th, 2025. This is Markets in the Morning, where we take a look at the price action of the cryptocurrency market, including the Bitcoin price chart, along with the altcoin market. Take a look over there at the United States stock market, which is set to open up in the next 27 minutes. Look over there at precious metals like gold, the US dollar currency index, and we'll check out any type of financial news and crypto news as we get ready to kick off our beautiful day. I don't know if I said US dollar currency index or DXY. I might have. I don't know. Little rusty, but I got the intro playing at least here, which is brand new. After doing Markets in the Morning for well over 2 years, we are finally playing the intro on here. But yeah, guys, welcome. It's been a little bit of a whirlwind over here in the cryptocurrency market, over there in the stock market for the last week or two, right? We got that Russell 2000 back to that 786 retracement level. Boom, ricochet right back off of it, back down to the 618, and now we're just waddling here in between the two as XRP is over here at $2.94 after, let's see, there we go, hitting back to where our daily candle closes. Resistances have been outside of the Trump pump and dump that happened in there. We're back at these levels over in here, and we're still just kind of waiting on the market, waiting on Bitcoin to tell us what we're going to do in here after it pinpoint nailed that top from back over there on May 22nd. So with it being Wednesday, of course, guys, we keep it light, tight, and bright. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
It is Wednesday, my dudes. It is Wednesday, my dudes. It is Wednesday, my dudes. It is Wednesday, my dudes.
There we go. All right. So here we go in the markets, guys. Not a whole lot to say in here outside. Of course, we've just slowed down. Of course, with
Welcome
Bitcoin.
to a moment of calmness.
Oh, great.
From one a
I got
day.
that thing
That's
playing.
Right. A calming moment.
How do I stop it? No,
Wait.
stop it.
Don't zone out.
I got a commercial playing. All right, it's going to do the bump. There we go. All right. Sorry about that. Again, rustiness, but here we go. Obviously the market has just slowed down in here. We got the big breakout happening for there in Bitcoin back in the middle of July. Then the altcoin market does all of its kind of crazy stuff happening back in here. Then the altcoin market pulls back as Bitcoin comes back and back tests there on the May 22nd high. Now we're all just waiting around, twiddling our thumbs. Are we good enough? Are we going to ramp our way back up in here? Will the altcoin market regain its steam to go back and try to stab for it and go into a real expansion? Right? We had seen things like this is what I used from the last video, but we saw Binance getting over $800. Right? It's getting into new all-time highs. Whoop, pulls itself right back. XRP gets new all-time highs. Whoop, pulls itself right back. So, of course, now we're all just sitting around twiddling our thumbs, waiting for things to ramp up in here. And just a boring patience game, waiting for that, waiting to see what the Russell's going to do right in here. XRP at $2.94 right now, all just waiting around. Anything, I don't know if there's really anything crazy to talk about in here outside of, right, you got total 3, right? This is the big breakout level that happens in here. This is the resistance level from mid-July, dating all the way back to early February, right? That's the back test level that's hit there so far for the altcoin market. Is it just waddles in here? We'll see if that's just an ABC and looking for a recovery. I think, in order for us to get the altcoin market to go boosting out of here, right? What do we want to see? Of course, we want to see Bitcoin go into the boost and go into the parabola. And now we just sit around waiting. Are we double bottoming? Is that good in here, right? As you can see in our example, that isn't the level that happened in here. That was actually this peak, but we had kind of the reversals in here, right? That this was a little bit lower. We talked all about this back in earlier this year on whether or not it would poke into a new high or would it show up short and do its ABC from back down in here, right? That would have been more of an equivalent example of things we have seen. But back in 2023 and 2024, we saw Bitcoin do something more like this, right? Remember when the crowd went wild in March of 2024 and the euphoria hit throughout the market? When Bitcoin did this, then it goes into like an 8-month correction after that. We didn't expect this correction, of course, last 8 months just due to the size and magnitude of it. But also you can see in here, right, where does it, here, let me do this. Here we go, right? So this is an equivalent example happening in here. Right, Bitcoin comes in, it sets this new high in here, and then it goes into an ABC. Notice when this back test comes back down into play in here, this is also where it stops, right? It doesn't go back down and hit the previous high. This is the level at which it stops itself at. That's currently where we are right now, right? With where Bitcoin has pulled back to. It's like pulling back to the same thing. The beginning of the ABC, where the A leg started from in here, that's where we have back tested. Now we're all just patiently waiting. Are you good? Are you double bottoming? Are you going to start ramping your way back up? And of course, we've sat here for how many days now? We've been here. Today is the fourth day of sitting in here waiting for a move to happen. I think I posted on Monday morning. We'll see if that was good enough because it pinpoint precisely nailed it. But still, it won't give us the answer yet on if we're good to go or not. So yeah, just waiting and waiting and waiting at this point right now. Total 3, of course, like we just showed, it did come back, and this was the resistance level. This is the thing that held it down for over 5 months. It's been the back testing level so far. See if it's ABC, but we're just waiting for some confirmation of a turnaround to happen in here, but likely, of course, to come along with stocks to prove it. And so it's just kind of like, gosh, it's just the repeat of 2024. If you all remember, we just spent forever messing with that thing, and then here we are again messing with that thing, and this of course is the moment where things got really nutty in the market. And so again, I'm going to suspect it's going to be the nuttiness will come, we get that to happen in conjunction with that to happen in there. So now we're just really not a lot to say outside of, hey, it's done the back test. Are you going to turn yourself up anytime soon? And we all just kind of sit back waiting and watching. Now, if you caught my video on Monday, of course, I talked a lot about XRP, the conviction on XRP using things like XRP dominance, XRP versus BTC, that, you can look at all these charts, and I don't know if I have them all pulled up. I don't have them all pulled up. I can maybe do it like this. Right. If you got the video, boom, there you go. Very clear, right? This is exactly what distribution schematics look like from the inverse perspective. And the reason why I show you guys these is just to remove those biases, because you get used to seeing this, especially when something's been like this for 6 years. Natural behavior fears down, right? Natural behavior always worries that things are going to go down. That's just how market participants are. And so when you see it from that perspective and that angle, your brain does clearly tell you the natural way for this thing to go is down. But that actually is up. And we used that a lot back in 2021. I think you guys were pretty annoyed by it. And I received a lot of criticism in 2021 doing that, because the market believed that we were going to 100K, 200K in 2021. But the using that inverse, I was able to clearly show I just didn't think it was going to happen. We can use that same stuff here to see that it seems the same way here for XRP. But again, reiterating, just when it comes to my YouTube channel, and I of course have to think about this stuff ahead of time of like, what is it going to be like for me when we get there? If we get there, my thoughts are that we probably go somewhere around right there. And that's the end of the XRP bull run. And that's it. And, how do I pivot as a YouTube channel in a moment like that? I've been like, okay, so I think it's probably done and I've sold a lot. Now what are we talking about? Right? And I'm still not really sure. But, that is what it is. So that's where I think we're headed to. We just got to get our bust out to come in here for this. And this is a zoom in of what it was like during Binance Coins. Let's get it here. Sign of strength phase. That's all I was doing there, was studying the sign of strength phase compared to what we've seen happen in here. So We're all just patiently waiting and twiddling our thumbs right now to see this market turn itself back up and for Bitcoin to provide evidence that we are good in here. I mean, obviously there hasn't been anything to sit there and be like, oh yeah, we're good. We're firing up. All we've done is just hit a technical level and we're just sitting there chilling and waiting. So we'll continue doing that. One thing I meant to mention here in the first couple of minutes, this markets in the morning is going to be about 40 to 45 minutes today. My daughter is going to the water park today, and so there's some things I have to do before that, but we'll still get in the majority of the stuff. We'll get through all this, and we'll get through the chat, just letting you guys know we're going to try to wrap it up fast. All right, there you go. Same thing over here for total 3, right? We talked about this already. As for gold, nothing crazy to talk about with gold. Like, this is really the exact stuff I'm looking for in the crypto market. This is the exact thing you saw for XRP back in late 2024, where, you get your bust outs and then you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whether or not this pokes up to here or not, I still think the end result is clearly going to be at a minimum back down here at 27.85. And that should likely be a very exciting time for the cryptocurrency market if that happens where it pokes, or if it doesn't even do it and it just goes straight on down in there. This is a completed parabolic move, right? And here, I'll show you that. Like this, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And stalls out. XRP does get that bigger move up in there, but as you saw with total 3, you did not, right? You did not get a new high to set here for total 3. And so that's the complication you have there with gold on whether or not it will get it or it will not get it. End result, still pulling back down into these levels. And you can see even total 3, it goes well below those levels in there as for it. But XRP pulls back to right there, which for gold, right, somewhere right there around 27.85, right? And so why do we even talk about gold? It's not like I even care. Like, I own gold. I'm not doing anything with my gold. My gold is just like for Bitcoiners who are like never selling my Bitcoin. That's kind of how it is for me with gold. But we look at this, of course, to say, is the steam run out of gold? Because if the steam is run out of gold, then it opens up the opportunity for the equity market to run. And if the equity market is going to run, then the cryptocurrency market can run. And this market has unequivocally proven that it is still completely tied to that. So, you can believe in use case utility or things that are driving the price to do whatever it is. The charts make it clear as day. This is all one big giant trade. So we still are going to continue to narrow in and focus in on these things like the Russell 2000. We're going to focus in on Bitcoin for XRP holders, focusing in on Bitcoin. You hate it. It's the reality. I feel like if we didn't focus on this, and if I sat there and gave you like ridiculous, all the money narratives and told you we're going to $1,000, I would just be doing a complete disservice to my YouTube channel to do that. The reality is we're just tied to the market, and that's what we have to wait on right now. So XRP holders, you're waiting on Bitcoin. That's okay. I'm an XRP holder. It's like over 2/3 of my crypto bag. So, it's all good. That's just the way the game is played. As for the DXY, of course, every time it pops up, the narrative gets, it's exploding. Pulling back down in here for the DXY. Again, I think it's just working on some longer term structure happening down in here. And I brought this up multiple times here in Markets in the Morning. I will not waste too much time with it today, that the entire 2021 bull run for crypto took place after the DXY had already bottomed. And it was this long double bottoming process that happened in here. And as you guys know, right, Bitcoin breaking out in the altcoin market December of 2020, January of 2021, and then Elon Musk on Saturday Night Live in May of 2021, and then that's where the altcoin market and crypto crashes from, and Bitcoin crashes 50% from there. And so the entire bull run happens in that double bottoming stuff, right? And so that's, and as you can see, right, there you go. So we're still in there. Just again, waiting for this market to be able to ramp itself back up. Otherwise, there's not a whole lot to say that isn't just repeating the exact same things that I say in all of my YouTube videos. I'm trying to keep it really simple, really straight to the point. I saw a question come in here a minute ago that we'll get to. People were like, what would make you concerned about like $7, $8, $9 not happening for XRP or things like that, right? So like these structures and these continued parabolas, right? Things we shouldn't be doing are just like breaking back down, right? You wouldn't expect us to be breaking back down below $109,000. That would create some concerns. I mean, even like I still probably wouldn't even want to see us get down in here to 106 to 109, just because I wouldn't expect that to end up happening. I would expect us to at least bounce from 109 right here at the worst. And like, let's pretend we're talking about the things that we talk about often, and we've talked about for over the years. Let's call it double tap, bull flag, breakout, right? Violent backtest, V bottom. Right, fine. If we want to call that double tap, bull flag, breakout, right? Violent backtest into the bull flag, breakout, fine. But getting down below here starts to really open up the door of where I will be like, you know what? I don't think I have a clear read on this market anymore for us to go down below there. That it won't look to me like a continued parabola to continue anymore at that point. So if we saw things like 102, 3, or 4, I would start saying, I'm not sure this is anything I'm familiar with. And I think if we actually got in there, we would start seeing really big weakness emerging on things like the monthly time frame, maybe MACD crosses, things like that happening if we went down into those price levels. So right now, definitely nothing to be concerned about for me with us being back where we're at, because this was really the expectation that we'd probably see somewhere around 112 to 114. We hit 112 and we're sitting at 113.8 right now. So it's nothing. You can look at the charts. There's nothing in here that's signaling that. But that would be a thing that would surprise me if we went down into these prices, 103, 102, something like that. I would have a very difficult time creating a strong argument at that point if that did occur. Another thing, if, for example, if we started rallying up in here, and the prices were roaring, and then XRP, I've got all this stuff on here now. And if XRP was not following along during that parabola, right? So Bitcoin finally breaks out in here. It goes and moves up in here. We get to say 126,000, right? Then we start producing a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here. And XRP is not following along during that. But XRP is doing something like this while Bitcoin's gone on and done that. But if XRP still looked like that, that would concern me that that was the top. And that was it. Because we've seen something like that one time before, right? And so I'm not saying that I think this is going to happen. I just built my entire case showing you why I think the dominance, why I think XRP BTC is going to rally up. I've spent hundreds of videos showing 4.236 extension on the market cap. Those are my ideas. That's what I think is going to happen. But where would it be something where I'd be like, something's not right, right? Something doesn't smell right. And it would be that if we went on and we did all these things in here, and if XRP just continued doing exactly that, and it just continued grinding like that, because we have seen that one other time before, and that happened with Cardano back in 2021, that Cardano rallied up, and then when Bitcoin went on to do something like this to end in 2021, Cardano didn't follow along. Cardano just stayed right in here like this, Bitcoin peaked, and then Cardano broke down from there. So that let me see if I can get this on here. And there you go. Here you go, right? Like this example right in here. Right, this is Bitcoin rallying right in here from $41,000 all the way up to $67,000. And notice that Cardano does not partake in that. Cardano just continues grinding down like this during that moment. So that would be something that would have me concerned in the event that we were doing something like that while Bitcoin went on and did that. And so that's kind of an example showing that of what would have me concerned in that event. Again, I don't think that's going to happen, but if it did happen, I'd be like, hey, you remember what we talked about on that thing? Ugh. I don't think it's going to happen, but somebody asked, I saw it coming through here, and I was like, oh, that's a good question. We'll answer that one. This would be something that would concern me, is if we saw something like that happen, where the Bitcoin did do this whole thing, and we didn't see XRP follow it along at any point within that. So that should answer that. All right, moving along. I think that's it for the charts. It's still just a waiting game to get to that. And in August, I feel quite confident we're going to see it start in August, but whether it's going to be in the next couple of days or if it's going to wait till next week. I think I was like playing with time and stuff like that. Just you would think, all right, if you were just playing with time on how long you've been in here. You'd think we're almost done. But it feels like there's going to have to still be that trigger, that event, that thing that makes the crowd say this time is different. So, all right, there you go. 295 for XRP, 113,919 for Bitcoin, and the patience game, it just still continues to play on. Technical level hit. Now waiting for evidence of double bottom and a ramp up. And as for the Russell, that'll probably be in conjunction with it to see it bust out of here as well. So, all right. Well, of course, last Friday, right? Last Friday is when all the insanity broke loose out there throughout markets. I don't know. It feels like it's intentional to like have us all confused on what narrative, right? Just the name of the game, right? What did you get on Wednesday? On Wednesday, you get the Fed. You got Jerome Powell saying he doesn't know anything about anything. He doesn't even know where he is. He said, how did I even get here on this podium? I'm not sure how I got here, and I'm not going to commit to knowing how I know that I actually am here. I didn't do it. Nobody saw me do it. You can't prove anything. Where am I? That's essentially what we got from Jerome Powell. The market anticipated that he would be dovish and come out and say they would get a 25 basis point rate cut come the September 17th meeting. He did not give that. Of course, he doesn't know anything about anything. And markets, you guys all saw it because we live streamed those. We saw the markets plummeting during that because the market's expectations were misallocated. Then on Friday, what did we get? Oh my gosh. Friday, we got the tariff deadlines come in, right? Which we know the tariff deadlines marked the low back here in April. And so far, that has been the case, right? So far, our low is the tariff deadline. But then, of course, you get hit with Trump's like moving submarines for Russia. And what else did we have? We have unemployment, massive misses. And I feel like there was one more thing. Then the market completely reprices itself again, right? So heading into the Fed meeting, we're at like 60% probability that we're going to have a cut on September 17th. Then we go through the Fed meeting and it's like a 35% probability that we're going to have a cut. And then you go to Friday, Monday, and Tuesday, and now here we are on Wednesday, 87% probability that the Fed is going to be cutting. So the market is just absolute seesawing, yo-yoing all over the place on what it's going to end up doing for these cuts. And we'll see. We'll see. Otherwise, as for news, I think it's earnings week this week. Disney earnings top expectations as streaming parks offset TV headwinds. ESPN flagship streaming service to launch August 21st. Disney's ESPN to acquire NFL media assets in major deal. Uber beats on revenue, announces $20 billion stock buyback, and McDonald's sees U.S. sales rebound led by promotions. Boy, these are all positive things, right? All right, looking over here at crypto news. Crypto investor falls victim to phishing scam, loses $3 million with a single click. Bitcoin analyst warns of $105,000 danger zone as open interest stays frothy. Ether could rip like 2021 as Solana traders brace for 10% drop. Trade secrets from Coinbase to Malay and Libra. Crypto class action suits pile up. Insiders, outsiders, and experimenters revisited. How to day trade crypto using ChatGPT and Grok. That'd be interesting. I've played with it. I don't think I've ever found anything where I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'll read that article. I have not found a way to fully integrate it into anything yet. Instead of like maybe trying to help write some scripts and stuff. How to use Google Gemini to turn, but I have no doubt it'll replace me one day. How to use Google Gemini to turn crypto news into trade signals. BlackRock leads record $465 million spot Ether ETF Monday exodus. Interesting. Blockchain-focused figure technology joins crypto IPO wave with SEC filing. CoinDesk owner bullish eyes $4.2 billion valuation in IPO backed by BlackRock and ARK. Wait, what? So wait, this is Cointelegraph writing about CoinDesk? CoinDesk owner bullish eyes $4.2 billion valuation in IPO backed by BlackRock. I don't know if they're saying that CoinDesk is worth $4.2 billion or what they're saying. Because CoinDesk is certainly not worth $4.2 billion. I think the only thing CoinDesk has going for it is that they do consensus every year, right? And there ain't no way that conference is worth $4.2 billion. No way. All right. Well, there we go. Another tame week waiting for evidence to show that this was the bottom and this is a reversal over here for Bitcoin. Till then, we twiddle our thumbs and wait for the market to tell us it has done something. Otherwise, I'm going to hop into the chat here real quick. We'll get through this stuff real quick and we'll get on our way for this week. And as you guys know, we're getting near the end of the summer. So, getting those last things in with the kids as we get the summer in August, kind of like the last, it's like officially like the last month of summer here in the United States for kids. And then they all go back to school. And boy, I say it every year. I absolutely love my children. They are the best thing that has ever happened to me in my life. And if they had never happened to me in my life, I would still be a self-centered, selfish jerk who cared nothing about himself. And my entire life would revolve around me. Having them gave me the ability to not be the center of the universe anymore and have more purpose in my life. But I cannot wait for my kids to be back in school and not be here in the house anymore. Absolutely. 100%. Goodbye. All right. Mr. Q just got back from a cave using wooden slippers and leather shorts for 12 days to learn time. This week is the week. By Monday, moon clock already started. Mr. Q is the most notorious optimist that I know. But I'll take it, Mr. Q. I've seen you be right before, man. Night Shift gifted a BCB membership, brother. Thank you very much. Rise Dyke, I wanted to ask you about your strategy during the crash. Do you feel safer holding cash in a bank rather than self-custody USDC? Don't you think there's going to be some counterpointing risk or bank runs? I find that there's more likelihood. Just look at the history of the cryptocurrency market. How many times have you seen stablecoins depeg from $1? How many times have you seen worry about that, right? To each their own. Make your own decision. I feel better holding cash in a bank, FDIC insured, rather than a stable coin. But that's to each person's personal opinion. Right. And when these markets do real crashes, right? When I look back, right, when this day is one day over in the long distance future, and I look back on it and be like, man, remember that crypto stuff we used to do and how crazy that was? And I look back on top, 5 worst moments of crypto. The FTX collapse was bad. The SEC suing Ripple and all the exchanges, delisting XRP was really bad, really bad. And the other one, top 3 moments, potentially top 2 moments, and I didn't even own it. I didn't own a single one. I'd never owned a single one of either of these. And that was Luna and UST collapsing. When those things happened, I didn't own either one of them. But it rattled me to see that happen in this market. To watch, I don't remember how many billions of dollars UST was. Was it 20 or $30 billion market cap for that stable coin to go to zero and to watch Luna, 60, $70 billion go to zero, that rattled me to my core, even though I didn't own those assets. So, knowing, like, and I get it, that's just the way those two assets were intertwined with each other, the way the code was scripted for that to end up happening. But yeah, that hit me. So I don't know. And then there's all the, the tether stuff that everybody always loves to do about. And I get it. USDC should be good, right? But we've also seen it depeg before. We saw it depeg back in March of 2023, right? It went from $1 down to 91 cents. It recovered itself just fine. But, I think there's always that. Like, people always think of bank runs and bank closures because they're thinking of, the Great Depression, right? When that happened. The 1930s, 1920s, right? This is 1930. I don't think it started in 1929. I think it was in 1930. But yeah, I don't know if in this day and age that will happen. You know what I mean? But that's a personal choice, brother. Thank you. Night Shift says, "Hey everybody, good morning, good morning." And then he had a super sticker. Thank you, brother. Freedom for all. I'm grateful for what you do, BCB. Brother, thank you. Appreciate the kind words, man. Jose M. Reyes, new member upgrade. Welcome, brother. Barry Roddick, member for 15 months, says, "Hey, BCB, what would happen to you for your just 789?" So I actually just answered your question right there on what would be things that would make me concerned. You were the inspiration for that little discussion that I had. Thank you, man. BCB Adventurer. Oh, no, not BC. He said BC. He's like, no, it's like British Columbia, bro, not you. Hey, buddy, would you mind recording a recap of your various altcoin targets, considering the changes in dev activity, etc.? I love you all. Yeah, so I don't... Picking targets this cycle around, I've done a whole lot less of because, you just get humbled by a market and understanding that a market changes. And so the main things I've been focusing on for you guys have been like understanding that it's all one big giant trade. And that's the thing that I just kind of keep trying to reiterate throughout the market, that there's going to be some stuff that sets new all times. There's going to be other stuff that doesn't. And a lot of them will just go to retraces. Some of them capable of reaching retraces, others not. Some capable of just touching all-time highs, others not. And I think it's more of one big giant trade throughout the market. And that's what I keep trying to continue with my messaging. And that it's going to be a lot less of like, oh, this one hits the 702, this one hits the 786, this one hits the 4.236. I think there will be confluence throughout the whole market. And at that point, you'll just kind of look at it and say, look, here we go. This one's at the 4.236. This one's at the all-time high. This one's at the 786. This one's at the 702. They're all happening at the exact same time. That's probably it. And determining which one's going to hit only 50% versus 786, I think it's going to be very difficult to figure that out. And I say that by going back and looking throughout all of 2021. I can't tell you how much time I spent trying to understand what all happened in 2021. And anybody acting like a guru to say, oh, it was just normal stuff. No, it wasn't. It was very different and very, very different than what we had seen in 2013 and 2017. And that's going to be I have no doubt in my mind, the reality of this time around as well. So picking coin targets and saying, yeah, this one's definitely going to a 4.236 extension. I don't know that. I don't know that will happen. You can have some that do it, like we had Ethereum Classic in 2021, right? What was any different between Ethereum Classic and Bitcoin Cash? Nothing. Both dingus coins. But Ethereum Classic did it, right? Whereas Bitcoin Cash did not. Bitcoin Cash didn't even hit a 50% or 702. It hits the 386 or 382. And that was it, right? So like there's going to be that mix happening in there. And that's why I spend so much time on my channel this time around saying we're focusing on the really big picture of things rather than being a coin target picking channel. There's plenty of channels out there who can do that for you and give you extreme hopium. But I just don't think it does a good service to anybody because I don't think it's going to pan out like that. I think it's going to be what we saw in the past. I bet it's going to be probably less than 20% that set new all-time highs. Less than 20. And but the reason I say less than 20 is because we had 20% in 2021. With how horrendous this cycle has been so far, I'm going to bet it's going to be less. Rex Chiquita, member for 8 months. Brother, thank you. Good morning, BCB. Thank you, sir. Sir Chavez, it's my 31st birthday. Super grateful. Thank you, BCB. Dude, thank you, man. And happy birthday. 31? Good age. Good age. You're kind of in that thing of, oh, man, I'm so old because I'm in my 30s now. But you're not, man. You're in your prime. Like, you're just starting to kind of figure out life a little bit. And people think in their 20s, like they're figuring things. You're still a complete dingus in your 20s. In your 30s, just kind of starting to figure things out. Maybe you have a kid already. Life is starting to settle down a little bit. You're becoming a little bit more into your routine. You're still in really good health, hopefully, at 31. You aren't breaking down yet. Like, you're not dealing with joint pains yet. Where your knees giving you problems. Or are you spraying your wrist with everything? Like, just totally dingus. You just spraying your wrist for no reason. You're not cracking and popping with every move. You're cracking a little bit, but not a lot. Anyway, I'll move on. Thank you, brother. Simplified Avalon. BCB, don't you think your crashing structure is an alts? Like Doge 88 2-hour and now with... Yeah, that's what we're talking about over there on XRP, which obviously I had that one a little bit too early, right? But there it is right there. 1, 2. Hopefully that was it right there. Which would make sense if that's the low, right? That's how you would mark our low. Married mixed chick, new member, welcome. So this is a new member, but I feel like I've seen you here multiple times before. New Wave Consulting. Is it good or safe idea to rotate profits into USD and watch the DXY return to 702 after the peak of XRP? Is it a different asset better? Cheers, bro. You have to do your own COMEX research to figure out which coins you think, or which coins, I guess you can call them coins, but which currencies you think are going to be stronger and if it's that big of a deal to you. To me, it'll always be the dollar. I'll always go to the dollar. Yeah. Oh boy, I'm gonna have to go a little faster. Okay. Bootlegged Kool-Aid, member for 2 months. Monero looking just like Doge. Yeah, I know. I've been watching that too. Touching 286, and it looks like a big move up is possible. You still like the chart? Well, this is it, right? This is like, if you look at the Monero chart, or you look at the Doge chart, it's like, okay, it officially just did what Doge did right before Elon tweeted. So we will be living in a simulation. I will be taking 2 weeks off if it happens, because I'm going to check into an insane asylum for 2 weeks if that happens right now. If Elon starts tweeting about Monero suddenly, or if he's like the new America Party, whatever he's talking about, becomes like, we're Monero. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. I'll have to put on my I don't know. I don't even know what it is because I don't have to do this anymore in my life. But when you have to like put like an away email, like your work email, like your away message, if anybody emails you, you're like, I'm out of the office for 2 weeks. I'm in the sane asylum for 2 weeks. If that ends up happening. But yeah, you're exactly right. It's there right now of when that event happened. Mac Twins, member for 7 months. I know you hate time questions, but you think we get the break in ETH and the RTY in August? I mean, I can make my best guess. I'll say sure. Sure. Night Shift says we're still looking for a member stream, but yeah, I know, guys. Man, it's dude, I try my absolute best to keep my personal stuff out of here, but as you guys know, like I've been pretty much off Tuesdays every Tuesday for weeks on end right now. All based on that ChatGPT stuff I shared with you. And it's been a really interesting moment in my life to have so much going on in my own life outside of the YouTube channel. I've had the extreme luxury of doing this YouTube channel for so long without a major event going on in my own personal life. But it's been a very big major event going on in my personal life. Outside of here with a health issue with somebody in our family, my wife's side of the family, And my wife isn't home. Again, she's not home today. It's like that nonstop. My brother-in-law just was living with us for a couple of weeks. He just left a couple of days ago, to help take care of my mother-in-law and things like that. And so it's been just a really, really big tornado that's been going on here. And I try not to bring that energy into the YouTube channel. But to say there's a lot going on for me when I'm out of here, and I'm talking about I got to get out of here in a couple of minutes because my daughter's going to the water park. I got to get it all going because my wife's not here. And so, yeah, I apologize for that. And it's just the way life is for me right now, man. And it sucks. But with everything in life, this too shall pass. Life is never just a steady ship. It's full of goods. It's full of bads. And it's in those moments where things are a little bit rocky and rough that give you that appreciation for where things are really, really good. And when things are really, really good, to not take it for granted and to not give yourself too much credit for why things are going good, but just to be living in the moment and appreciative of it. Night Shift also said, I want $6 and a market cap crash so I can buy up some Pluto bags, not moon bags, with my promise. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, once we get through here, any bags that I hold on to, they're like a 10-year horizon. They're just zero, or they're literally anything I hold out of those just going to zero or going to bajillion dollars. That's it. And I accept that fate for either one. Smart Frog Education. Hey, BCB, what's your base case for ETH based on FIB extensions? Your course during 2021 will help me come up with my own profit targets. Thank you. Because I got to get through here quick. We probably should put together an ETH video. And I know they get very poor viewership, but Ethereum's really important to this market, just like Bitcoin's really important to this market. Jeez. Hold on. I think I missed something in the beginning because it fell out of here. Blackbeard, he had given 50 memberships, and that fell off of my thing. And like every time before the stream starts, he does that, man. Thank you. And of course, he's usually doing 20, and he dropped a 50 bomber before the chat even started, before the stream even started. My brother, thank you very, very, very much. And then, got Edward Lang over here doing the same thing he does every time. I can't believe it. He just gave 250 bombs as well. So he just gave out 100 memberships, man. I can't tell you my gratitude for you guys, man. Thank you. How do you even say thank you enough for something like that? It's amazing. But back to the Ethereum question. I'll have to do an Ethereum video at some point because it's been a little while. I wish I just had it up here. Because I would set it up, right? I would set it up as like a crash, retrace, reaccumulation structures where I'd have it set, right? Right, so I don't know what the Ethereum market cap looks like right now. Well, I guess I could just do it like that. And I got to get moving, guys. Oh, man. I don't know. That's the hard part for me here. How do we get to 2 trillion? That's the part that I struggle with. How do we get to a $2 trillion market cap on Ethereum? I mean, you're looking at 5xing from right now being like 20 grand. You just would have to see something insane come out of the market. But it's like, that's not how we're structurally set though, right? Hold up. I'll use this chart. Right, so it's just like exactly, if not even more, right? It's just, again, this isn't the market cap for Bitcoin. This is the price chart. The market cap does get to the 702 retracement up in here. That, you would think 4.236 extension, $2 trillion. I'm just going to, which of course that's like 20 grand for Ethereum. But I'm going to remain nimble in here, man, because that means we have to increase this market cap a lot. Not sure if it's going to trick or not. Again, I think what I'm waiting for is I'm waiting for more signals to come from this market first. But if you are only using technical analysis alone, Ethereum certainly looks like a crash, retrace, reaccumulation for the entire year with a 4.236 extension with a target of about 20 grand, right? Problem is that's a $2 trillion market cap. That's almost what the market cap of the entire market is right now. So it's kind of hard. Okay, Night Shift gives it a BCB membership. And then Night Shift with a very generous super chat as well. Brother, thank you. Just all kinds of stuff in there, man. Thank you very much. Mr. Rodriguez, new member, no message. Thank you very much. AGS says, do you still believe XRP will run up before the SSP drops the appeal and mark the top? Isn't the deadline on the 15th? Maybe appeal drop to start the rally. If anybody's telling you the deadline is the 15th, you're getting YouTube influencer nonsense like usual. However, Mark Fagel did say he thinks it's probable that it'll happen before the 15th. Right? There's nothing mandatory saying it has to happen before then, but that it's very probable that it will happen before then, and that they'll, if not actually drop their appeals, make some type of statement implying that they both intend to, right? But look where we are in the cycle. If this is right, of course, assuming that this ends up being right, things change and blah, 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 blah. But let's pretend this is where you are, right? You've traveled this far through the cycle. And you're going to get the case to officially end in that right there. You know what I mean? That's enough. That's enough for it to be occurring during the most speculative, euphoric time of the market. XRP Surfer member for 20 months. Brother, thank you. I'm researching inverse crypto ETFs. When the bubble pops, it seems like an easy play. What are your thoughts? Yeah, you just got to be real careful with them, man. Because your timing has to be pretty dang good. Right. And of course, they can waste away your funds with fees and things like that the longer you sit in them. So you kind of really got to research them and see what type of deterioration they end up having. But there are like 3x inverse Bitcoin ETFs, right? I don't know if it's 3, but SBIT. I think that's one. I think that's either a 2x or a 3x inverse Bitcoin ETF. There's also like SF maybe. So they're out there. But yeah, for me, I don't touch leverage. I never have. I can't say I never will, but I have literally no intention for it. I don't have an account set up at any of the leverage exchanges to do that. Because once you start playing with leverage, that's when you open up the risk of going to zero. And I can definitively say I've never had my account go to zero, ever. And I know that lots and lots and lots of people have, because you just get margin called. Every time we see these things happen where there's a margin call and $1 billion is wiped out in the market, there are thousands of people who just lost everything. Everything. They're out. Game over. Whenever we see those things, whenever there's a $500 million in liquidations happen in the crypto market today, thousands of people got wiped out to zero when that happens. So I never end up doing that. So like when you do those inverse ETFs, like you still get to kind of play with margin a little bit, but not really, because they're not going to go to zero, right? It's not really margin. It's just like 2x the risk and 2x the volatility. So if it goes the opposite way on you, you'll get hurt twice as bad, but you still won't go to zero. So I've toyed with the idea of doing those because you're still not going to go to zero and risk the whole portfolio on something like that. And if it does, it's not like you just buy the number of shares that you want, right? And if those shares go to zero, then those shares go to zero. It's not like the rest of your account is in danger with something like that. So Yeah, I've thought about it. Definitely. Way over margin trading. And for anybody who doesn't understand, like I keep kind of reiterating this too, people who are saying that they're going to, why would I sell my crypto when I can be like the rich people? Right? Rich people just borrow against their assets. So that way they don't have to pay any taxes on it. Yeah, that sounds great in concept. But if you ever looked into it on how that works, I'm telling you, you will get wrecked. Utterly wrecked doing that in the crypto market. And the people pitching you that idea are grifting you. You will get wrecked if you borrow against your assets instead of taking profits. If your taking profit plan is at the peak of the market, I'm going to borrow against my assets, you're going to get lit. I'm telling you. Look into it. New Wave Consulting says, weird question, but have you checked actual lunar cycles versus trading behavior? Would you mind looking into it and mentioning it in a future video? Fairy Dust and Unicorn? No, that's not for me. I'm all down with conspiracy theories and magical unicorn, fairy dust, puppet masters pulling the puppet strings, God in a simulation. But the thing I don't get with is lunar cycles. I've seen that stuff since I've been in here, man. In crypto, I remember in 2017 seeing that stuff too. People lining up full moons with it and all that kind of stuff, and it's just, it's not for me. XRP Surfer sent a BCB membership, brother. Thank you very much. All right, I'm going to move real fast. Crypto Matt TX, member for 18 months. What catalyst or white swan do you suspect will cause altcoins to rally this month? Okay, so any type of white swan or black swan by definition is completely unpredictable. You will not guess what it is. FTBLVINJR. I don't know. Do you believe XRP can go to 231 to fill the monthly FG? I just don't know why we would go that low. Why you would go all the way down, here to close this. I would just have a very difficult structural play on that. Very, very difficult for me to see the structure on that if we went all the way down to 231. Arm Day says, hey, BCB, curious in your sentiment. Do you feel optimistic about XRP in the broader crypto market heading into August or September, or does Q4 feel more likely to be a meaningful moment? No, I think we're at the point where it should be happening soon, and not waiting all the way until Q4. That things start ramping up now. That it'll probably be Q3. That's the exciting thing, which the market wouldn't suspect, right? The market always has to think there's more left in it. And so if you knock it all out in Q3, right, then the market participants fully believe we still have all of Q4. Look at what happened in 2017. Look at what happened in 2021. We still have all of Q4. 4-year cycles, baby. That would be a perfect thing to wrong foot the whole market. And that's what we know will happen, right? The whole thing's going to wrong foot us, right? And you have to try to beat that to it. Gibbs, 18 months, my brother. He said, I had a dream last night that XRP memes on Ledger started to go gangbuster again. Crossing my fingers. I know, Gibbs. One day, right? I hope. There'll probably be an end of cycle thing. I don't know. Yeah, I kind of did pretty well on memes when they came out on XRP Ledger, and I know Gibbs did very well too. And so we both kind of joke back and forth whether that environment will ever return. Edward Lang, of course, coming in with the bangers, man. as usual, 100, man. Thank you, dude. John DeJean, a member for 46 months, almost 4 years. You still keep saying $8 to $10. How do you see it going higher than 850? Yeah, exactly. So in case it doesn't pinpoint, nail it. Like, for example, here. What was this thing I just had up here? I think I had Litecoin up in here, didn't I? Where did I have Litecoin? Right, so here, right? So here you go, right? Where does it go? Oh, it just whips above it, right? There's always this potential it whips, right? Not that it can stay there or anything like that. We have seen assets completely pinpoint nail it, like Ethereum Classic, Bitcoin, and Ethereum, but there are times where just little whips happen in there too. And so I set myself up for that too, because if, what if it does get to $8? All right, I'm selling like massively in $8, and then we see $9, and then we say $10, and then people are like, "Whoa, what do you think? It's beyond your target. You said it would have to stop exactly at the 4.236 extension. It's whipped up a little bit higher. Are you completely invalidated now? Do we need to buy back in completely?" Because that's exactly what happens, guys. No questions asked. That's exactly what happens every time. People act like that, and so it can be an area. But yeah, gambling for any nips above that 4.236 on the market cap, my opinion, is just extreme risk taking. Crypto Keeper, I hope the mama heals quick. You're a good man, BCB brother. Thank you very much, Crypto Keeper. XRP server, if you're able to, can you do a members live stream? It's okay, I understand. Yeah, it's just about squeezing it in with time. Which right now I'm already going to be in massive trouble because I'm already at an hour. I'm supposed to be done. Crypto new member, welcome, brother. Thank you. Pew pew. 11 months. Heard the bull run starts when BitBoy gets out of jail. Well, is he even in jail right now? I don't think anybody even knows. And again, wishing the best for that guy. Gosh, it's wishing the best for him, man. And hopefully he can get things together. Cincy Pillis, what difference is this cycle? Social media sentiment on X and YouTube is low as it's ever been. Who are we selling our bags to? Only one rate cut will magically drive mass retail to buy BTC. So you're predicting that the retail, the rate cut is the narrative. There's always something, and you don't know what it's going to end up being and what drives them in here. But yeah, we don't see the typical sentiment of what a top looks like right now, right? But trust me, people can get really dumb when the time is right. XRP server, thank you for your sage wisdom. I can say I'm a proud member, my dude. Thank you, man. You've been proactive today, dude. Thank you. Elandre C, if XRP jumped tomorrow and you had a chance to rotate funds, would you start by analyzing developer activity, ecosystem growth, and utility trends to spot strong momentum and long-term potential? So my thoughts are, with how deep we are in this and how I think it's just going to be like some quick movements happening throughout the market. I don't know if there's really going to be a rotational play, or if I'm willing to gamble on any rotational plays happening in here. Right. I think you're more of so trying to become real technical on trades at that point. And we're just so high up in here. I feel uncomfortable being like, yeah, I'm going to rotate. My portfolio is at an all-time high right now, right? Like, pain in the butt to get it back there. But, am I going to rotate it all around again? I don't know. Man, I spent a lot of time thinking about it. And so the thing is, I don't know if it's going to be as simple of rotating around as it's been in the past. And even the last one wasn't easy. So let's be frank. historically speaking, the best play is to rotate it, right? Like if this whole market just stayed still for a second and XRP shot to $9 today, like historically speaking, the best play, dump your XRP and shift it. Like that would be the play, right? So, you're asking a hypothetical question where if that happened today, maybe because the rest of the market hasn't done anything yet. So there is a rotational play there, but it's unlikely to be like that. You know what I mean? Like it's more likely going to be that XRP is shifting up, the whole market's shifting up at the exact same time. And it's very unlikely that it's going to be XRP fires to $9 and the whole market stays still and waits for XRP to hit $9 for all of us to sell and then rotate our profits. You know what I mean? It's just super unlikely. And so when I sit there and say, I don't know about rotations, because I just don't think it's going to be that spread out. I don't think we're going to have that big fat luxury like that. But to answer your hypothetical question, if XRP pumped to $8, $9 today, and the market stayed totally still and did nothing while that happened, would I do it? Probably. I'd probably rotate it. So. And yes, I'd focus on important metrics, right? That's the things that I've done this time around. Spent a tremendous amount of time focusing on those metrics. And those things are ever changing. So it's all about doing that today. I'd probably have to go rebuild my whole list, see who's the top developers, who's trending in what direction, who's holding up, who's not, and then make that decision based on today's data. You know what I mean? So, okay, I survived. I didn't intend to go an hour today. I really needed to go 40 minutes. I'm going to get an earful for this. But we got everything covered now. Bitcoin at 114.3, XRP 295. We're still waiting for our evidence to see this thing bounce on out of here and that was a good enough backtest happening in there on top of that high. And hopefully we can put together a video tomorrow and say, oh, sweet, we're back at 117, 118 LFG. So till then, just wait on it. Otherwise, guys, you can check out the newsletter over here at blockchainbacker.substack.com. I have done a very poor job at giving you guys the frog here on Wednesdays. Here we go.
It is Wednesday, my dude. It is Wednesday. Dudes.
And on that note, Elandre said if XRP jumps to... Oh, wait, I already got that one. Wait, did I get that one? I got that one. No, I didn't do it again, did I? I did do it again. Oh, gosh. Okay. That's it. I'm done from start to finish. We've done that. Check out the newsletter, blockchainbacker.substack.com. Have an absolutely wonderful day. And I will check in. Wait, what is this? Yeah, Chieftain. Yeah, it gifted the 50 at the beginning of the stream, guys. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you for tuning in here. We're still hitting that 25 to 3,000 mark over here on viewership. Nothing crazy, nothing to run and tell mom about of excessive euphoria. But the day that comes, we, of course, will address it. Otherwise, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like the live stream and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice, and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.